As more leaders are arriving in the country to attend the presidential inauguration, Cuban Vice President Salvador Valdes Mesa will be hosted by acting sports, arts and culture Minister Maropene Ramokgopa at the Freedom Park in Pretoria. SABC News reporter Khayelihle Khumalo joins us live from there. Khayelihle, of course, exciting times for the country as we continue to just count down the hours ahead of that inauguration of South Africa's 7th democratically elected president. Just talk to us where you are exactly and what's happening there.
Well, that's right. So, Nat, as you know, that those countries really share the historical bonds and the fraternal ties will be coming to South Africa. I mean, earlier we had an opportunity where we went to OR Tambo International Airport, where also quite a number of heads of states and other eminent guests have been just arriving, really just indicating that South Africa is a very formidable global player, and there's so much interest in terms of the developments here in South Africa, but also celebrating 30 years of democracy in South Africa. That's going to be a very important theme during the course of the inauguration. But in terms of the actual location where we are, we're right in Pretoria at Freedom Park. A very important place in South Africa. This is a place where all the names of those who really just paid a supreme sacrifice, who died during the course of so many wars in South Africa, but also fighting against apartheid. So this is where also the Cuban Vice President Mesa will have an opportunity where there will be a short wreath-laying ceremony where he's going to pay respect to those Cuban soldiers who died in Southern Africa. As you know, that Cuba remains one of South Africa's strategic partners, but really just to hear so much about what to expect during the course of the afternoon, we're joined here by the head of corporate services here at Freedom Park, Mr. Khayelihle. So once again, sir, thank you so much indeed for your time. So by all means, a very interesting time where we're expecting any minutes now where the Vice President will come through here.
Thank you very much for having us and for affording us this opportunity. Indeed, we are honored as Freedom Park that will be hosting the Vice President of the Republic of Cuba, Salvador Valdes Mesa, who will be coming here to lay a wreath for his countrymen and women who laid down their lives in the fight for freedom in Southern Africa. You'd remember that the Cuban soldiers were deployed as from 1975 to 1991, primarily to assist the government of Angola at the time that was under siege from opponents. But also it was not just about Angola, it was for the whole southern tip of Southern Africa, in the sense that their struggle and their contribution led, one, to the liberation of Angola itself from the threats that it was facing, and immediately after that to the independence of Namibia and to our own freedom here in South Africa. So as South Africans, we are eternally indebted to the Cubans, and we are always honored to have their heads of state visiting us. Behind us, as you have just indicated, are the names of close to 2,500 Cuban combatants who laid down their lives in Angola. You'd also remember that between August 1987 and March 1988, the decisive Battle of Cuarto Carnavale was fought in Angola, which after that led to the apartheid government relinquishing control over Namibia, and finally ultimately agreeing to negotiate. So the Cubans played a very critical role in our liberation.
And just once again, Mr. Khayelihle, while we still have you, 30 years of democracy, partnership and growth. So it is indeed a very pivotal moment for South Africa, but also grateful to the international community, those countries who are willing to give donation to the freedom fighters, and really just coming into full circle now because it's 30 years of democratic dispensation, and looking at such a very important role played by this institution where history is well preserved.
Yes, very much so. Behind us, as we just said, we have the Wall of Names. And the Wall of Names contains the names of South Africans themselves who fought from the earlier years of colonial conquest, the wars of resistance, up until the liberation movement. It also contains the names of brothers and sisters all over the African continent, from almost all the countries that contributed and were in solidarity with us. And beyond the shores of Africa, it contains the names of our friends from a number of countries that also stood in solidarity. So today is very important in the sense that this being the 30th anniversary of our democracy, we also celebrate and express our thankfulness to the compatriots all over the world who stood with us. We couldn't have achieved what we went through had it not been also of international solidarity. So we pay tribute, and it is for that reason that Freedom Park was constructed, not only to honor South Africans, but to also honor international friends and comrades.
All right, so thank you so much indeed for your time. So, Nasi, of course, that's the head of corporate services here at Freedom Park, Mr. Khayelihle, really just talking about the program, what's to be expected during the course of the afternoon. So the Vice President of Cuba is going to be hosted by the Acting Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Ms. Ramokgopa, but also most importantly, really just highlighting the solidarity when you look at the diplomatic ties between South Africa and Cuba.